it is time to start the impeachment process.
This is as close to an impeachment referral as you could get under the circumstances.
I believe that the Judiciary Committee should begin impeachment inquiries.
Some top 2020 Democratic candidates reacting to Mueller's first public comments, of course, about the probe yesterday. I'm joined right now by a Democrat running for president, former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper. Thanks for coming on The Beat.
You bet. Thank you, Ari.
Is it time to impeach Donald Trump?
Well, I wanted to, I call myself sometimes an extreme moderate. And I wanted to hear what Mr. Mueller had to say yesterday. But based on that, I think we'd be crazy not to open an impeachment inquiry and get the real facts. And I don't.
So last week, were you for an impeachment probe?
No, I was still holding back. I wanted to hear what Mueller was going to say.
So this week is the week that you're saying start an impeachment probe.
Start the inquiry. It doesn't mean we're going to impeach him tomorrow or maybe ever. And let's not be naive, right? I don't think anybody thinks that Mitch McConnell is going to allow President Trump to be impeached. Democrats have to keep our eye on the prize. We're going to have to beat Trump at the ballot.
But substantively, do you think he obstructed justice?
Probably. I think there's a high probability. But what I want is the facts. And I think the American people want the facts. And I think we have a constitutional obligation to follow those facts wherever they lead.
Should the Democrats nominate someone who can't say what you just said, who doesn't think that the way to stand up to Donald Trump is to have an impeachment probe?
No, I don't think that should not be the litmus test.
Why not?
Well, because I think that there are much bigger issues than that. We've got to create a vision for America that's based on kitchen table.
But let me press you on that.
Economics.
Donald Trump, according to your party, your base, poses a unique and dangerous threat to America. You've heard that from many of your voters.
No question.
And Donald Trump has now been publicly exposed, according to the Mueller report, in 10 different incidents of various ways that he was potentially betraying his oath of office. Why shouldn't your party have a clear position on that? I mean, is Joe Biden wrong to say it's not time to impeach?
I think, again, Joe Biden's got his own universe of reasons. My feeling is that the inquiry is not the same as the filing the articles of impeachment. That's the next step. But I think everybody should agree that we want to get the real facts. And if you have to open an impeachment proceeding to provide more weight behind the subpoenas to make sure that those facts come to light, then we have to do it. I mean, we have to do it.
Do you think holding back on a probe would help Donald Trump cover up what he did?
Yes, I think that getting the facts allows the American people to have some confidence of what they're dealing with.
So final question on this before I turn to some other topics.
Sure.
If Joe Biden is against starting that probe, then by your logic, he would be helping Donald Trump.
No, I think I would want to hear what his reasons were and make sure that he is. Now I'm going to get myself in trouble. I think that we all.
Why are Democrats so afraid of getting in trouble?
Yeah, well, because
people are looking for leadership, right?
I understand that.
And Donald Trump, we've heard from Bob Mueller, was trying to obstruct a criminal probe. That's the substantial evidence.
If that is true,
I read the report. That's what I read.
If that is,
and so I'm not taking a position, but I'm asking for the Democrats. What are you afraid of?
Well, I'm not afraid of that at all. I'm saying right out that we've got to go out and get the facts. We've got to open an impeachment inquiry and make sure that we get the facts on the table. What I'm holding back.
So Joe Biden and you.
Wait. What I'm holding back.
I
don't want to.
Wait.
You're trying to lure me into attacking my opponents, which.
It's not a lure.
Right,
no, I didn't say attack. I'm not asking you to criticize him as a person. I'm trying to, and this is part of my job, Governor, I'm trying to understand where their differences are and whether you and Biden have a difference on that or not. I think that's a reasonable question.
We have a difference in opinion. I want to open an inquiry to try and get the facts out, and so far he has not come to that decision. He probably will. Maybe he won't.
In the interest of time, I want to hit some other stuff.
Okay.
As governor, you backed a women's health care plan that your administration argued was good for women and lowered unwanted pregnancies by providing support and funding. Explain.
Well, and I see what's going on in Alabama and Indiana and even Missouri as a as an assault on women's rights, right? And I think women have an inalienable right to control what happens to their body. In Colorado, we took a different direction. We expanded health care access, provided women with long-acting reversible contraception, IUDs and Norplants, and in the process, we reduced teenage abortion by 64%, and teenage pregnancy by 54%, and saved the Colorado taxpayers $70 million.
And you did that with what you're saying is also still a pro-choice policy.
Absolutely.
Very interesting.
We were out giving women access to make their own decisions.
Right, and that comes against what we've been covering on the show tonight, which is these crackdowns. We also want to have fun. We don't want to just ask you about your opponents. We want to have a little fun. Would you do a lightning round with us?
Sure.
All right, hit it. Favorite TV show?
Cheers.
Favorite
I was in the bar business,
Yeah,
what can I
you're
say?
a brewer. Favorite president?
Lincoln.
If you could have anyone for your running mate, living or dead?
Well, that's a tough one. I guess I would take Harry Truman, just as he did such a great job. If someone's gonna, if I'm gonna leave this earth, good to have someone who's experienced in making that transition.
Jay Inslee sat in that chair and said Washington State has the best pot. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I think we have more experience. So if you're actually looking at quality and not quantity, I think that we eclipse their efforts.
You like squash. What has squash, the game, taught you about how to excel in politics?
It's relentless, and it's filled with strategy.
Favorite band?
You know, right now it's I think the Lumineers, although Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, these are two amazing Colorado bands that are, and the Avett Brothers and, Old Crow Medicine Show. Don't get me started. We don't have enough time.
We have time. Kurt Vonnegut is a name that comes up, famous writer. Take a look. I'm going to play for you. Your father has joked about this, or your father was a friend of Vonnegut, and here's joking about who your real dad is. Take a look.
John, as you know, the man you've always believed to have been your father, also named John Hickenlooper, was my brother in Delta Upsilon fraternity at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. That twerp was not your father. I am your father.
Vonnegut meets Darth Vader kind of thing.
He was, my father died when I was 8. So Kurt Vonnegut told me more about my father than I learned probably from my family.
Wow.
And if you go to his chapter 44 of his last book, Timequake, there's a whole piece in there about my father and myself and how he got to know us. But the great thing about Kurt was when I called him and said I was going to run for mayor in 2003, I'd never run for anything. I was a successful businessman. And I asked him if he'd endorse me. And he said, oh, if I endorse you, I'd have to endorse everybody. Why would I do that? And I said, no, don't do it, Kurt, no problem. The next day, I got a fax. He didn't like emails. He sent me a fax saying, I don't believe in endorsements. I believe in hope. I hope John Hickenlooper is the next mayor of Denver. So we put it on bookmarks and got our volunteers to hand it out at libraries, for the 7 weeks before the election.
Well, hope is something I think everyone could agree on across the political spectrum. John Hickenlooper, Governor, thank you. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.